She's a fine-looking ship, if you ask me. Applying the decals for this one didn't take quite as long, but I'd say it was almost as difficult because there are so many really, really tiny details. A bunch of little markings on the side of the neck, on the side of the nacelles. You probably can't really see them here, but nevertheless. Also, what I didn't even realize when I was putting this thing together is that this ship actually has a shuttle bay. You can't really see it in there, but there's two little white markings on the very opening there. I had initially thought maybe this might have been the impulse engines, but as it turns out, it's actually the landing bay. The two little white markings are the shuttle bay floor markings. So if I were to pop off this top panel here, you could see the actual landing bay itself. It has a door that can, I suppose you could cut it off the actual part and model it open, but I didn't actually realize that it was even supposed to be a shuttle bay until I started doing the decals. So it was a little bit late at that point. The ship itself, once I primed it with Mr. Hobby, Mr. Surfacer 1000, I shaded with dark gray, flat dark gray, and then painted the whole ship with Tamiya Royal Light Gray, which is about my favorite shade of gray for this sort of application. It's just a nice gray. It's just a nice neutral gray that's really appropriate for almost any application. Not to mention that it goes on really thin and really transparent, so the shading shows through really well. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, but if you were to see it in person, you could see it really nicely. It turned out really well. The torpedo launcher there I weathered with a little bit of chalk pastel using one of Tamiya's Weathering Master sets, which I just love them. In addition, you can see there's some windows along the side and the front of the head, which were represented as decals, much like on the Enterprise. And some more markings on the underside. Nothing all too spectacular. The original shooting prop was put together rather hastily. I think it might have even been based on an unused concept for the Enterprise itself. At least that's what a friend of mine told me. He's kind of an eccentric little fella. He's done a lot of the kind of goofy what if type stuff that I often post after hobby shows every year. In fact, what he wanted to do one time was to do one of these up with Federation type nacelles as a captured Klingon Battlecruiser. And if I can ever get my hands on another one, I might do that myself, because it's actually a really neat idea. The Federation type nacelles, though, are much, much longer than these, so it really throw off the whole size, shape, and balance of the ship, but it would look pretty interesting. Anyway, so the rest of the ship, though, had been weathered with Tamiya's Weathering Master sets, various colors, the soot and oil stain, a little bit of rust, just to make it look a little bit worn out and beat up. I mean, it is a Klingon ship after all. They've never been particularly concerned about aesthetics. Last but not least, I have just a little pseudo review here. This is Bandai's 1/850th scale refit Starship Enterprise, as it would have appeared in the first 3 Star Trek films. This is the one that they released about 5 or 6 years ago. Is fully pre-painted, pre-colored, and is designed, and includes a full lighting kit. Unfortunately, the lights don't seem to work anymore, so I can't do a little demonstration. But it was a fun little build. They're pretty hard to find now because they've been discontinued for quite some time. But it's a little bit too toy-like for my taste. You can see there's a pretty big seam there. There's a whole lot of seams over the tops of the nacelles, and some other nasty spots here and there. Some fit issues. You can see there's a bit of a gap there. And the wires that actually light the nacelles are concealed under tape, of all things. There's just a couple little channels that run up the nacelle pylons that are covered over by a little bit of tape. Anyway, the reason, though, that I wanted to show this off is because, well, I was a little bored and I was playing around with my airbrush. I decided to show it as the post-Wrath of Khan Enterprise. Just did some light, I guess you can't really call that light weathering, but some phaser burns and torpedo impact as it appeared pretty much at the end of the Wrath of Khan. Like I said, I was bored and I was playing with my airbrush, so what else am I going to do with it? I've been tempted to do this to this ship for quite a while, but never really got around to it, and I just kind of dug it out of the closet a few weeks ago to use as a reference when I finally get on to doing my my Polar Lights refit. Because I mean, the colors are a little off, but at least you know you can get an idea of what it's supposed to look like when it's finished based on this. So I figured, you know, why not? What's the harm? Otherwise it would just end up going back in the closet, and it may yet anyway, so who knows. At least it looks kind of cool now. Makes it a little bit unique and distinctive. So anyway, they're both about 95% complete. I want to do maybe a little bit more weathering, and I still have to build the bases yet. In addition, I want to do I want to spray them both with a flat or a semi-gloss clear coat to bring down the gloss, because right now they're I just sprayed them with Future, so they're pretty high gloss at the moment. So apart from that, like I said, all I've got left to do is to build the bases and attach the ships and the insignias to them, and then I think I'll be pretty much done. And then I guess it'll be on to the next project. Haven't really worked out what that's going to be yet, but stay tuned.